Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Pixie Love. You guys can call me Pixie. And today we're doing some r/Fatlogic. This is going to be my last video for a while. There is a community post up, which I assume most of you guys have seen already. I am moving. It's a very last minute thing. Literally bought my plane tickets 2 days before I'm recording this, and I leave in 2 days. So it's just like very crazy whirlwind, and my stuff is being shipped to us, and since it's so last minute, I won't be getting my stuff till March 8th. So I'll probably be able to start recording videos shortly after then. I will try to do some stuff on my phone here and there and my iPad, maybe do a Q&A or something, just to keep you guys updated. I'm still here, I'm still alive, and the beginning of the year is always so much like chaos for me, but once I get, you know, back into my own place and get everything going and moving, it'll be really easy for me to be back on schedule and get everything back together. So yeah, sorry. I know I just started getting back to recording again, and now something else is going on. Life gets in the way of everything, but I'm so excited. So excited about to have my own place again. Everything's gonna be good. But let's get into these crazy entitled videos, because the other two videos I recorded today were all good and uplifting. I had to do something. I had to do something to, you know, spice it up a little bit. So we're doing some Fatlogic. So hope you guys enjoy this. I will never stop talking about how gym culture is just a breeding ground for EDs, isolation, and is not a sustainable lifestyle. I'd rather be chubby than to count every calorie and track my every step for the rest of my life to stay in shape. I talk about my boyfriend sometimes when I do these because he's a very in shape person, and that mofo does not count his calories or his steps. He goes to the gym 5 days a week because he grew up with a semi-healthy relationship with food, and he doesn't overeat. He actually probably undereats more than he overeats. And he's always been physically fit and into fitness and working out and sports and everything, so he stays in shape. You can make that a lifestyle. It's very sustainable. You go 2 hours, like, instead of watching, you know, binging a TV show for 2 hours, he goes to the gym. And he does binge TV shows too, but he makes sure it's 5 days a week he goes to the gym because it clears his mind. It's kind of like his happy place. It's him getting out the house to do stuff where the last couple years. So like, yeah, and he does not count calories or track his steps. He doesn't even use the freaking Fitbit I gave him. But me, I got my Apple Watch. I count my steps. I don't check it every day. I actually haven't been checking it as much as I used to, but I don't check it every day. But I got my steps. I try to go to the gym. Actually, last week was the first time in a long time, like the first time since like been out here and working, that I went to the gym 3 days a week. For me, that's always been my goal, is to try to go 3 days a week because I work and I do stuff, and but I quit my job. Whole story, like, wish I could tell you guys. Wish I had the time to tell you guys the story about me quitting my job. But I quit my job before I decided to move, and then I was like, I got the news that I could move, so I was like, yes, perfect. But I literally quit my job last week, and I was able to go to the gym Thursday and Friday, and I went Monday. Like I'd always try to start the week off good. So I was so proud of myself. I was like, ooh, I feel good going to the gym 3 days a week. I was so proud, and like, it was not a hassle whatsoever. I don't know what it is. Like, it's just the thought of having to leave my house and leave my comfort zone, which is my computer room, which is my computer. Popping my cat. My computer room is my comfort, and having to leave my comfort is frustrating. But then once I get to the gym, I always have a good time. But I just hate having to get there. That's the problem. But like, all back to this, it's not unsustainable. It's really not. And you don't have to go to a gym to lose weight. It helps, but you don't have to. You can find ways to work out at home. Like, my sister used to lay in bed doing like leg ups and crunches. She was like, if I'm just laying here, I might as well do something while I'm laying here. Like, literally her mindset. Like, you just gotta change the way you think and see things. But if you're comfortable with being chubby, that's fine. Be chubby, but don't you're like, you're trying to make yourself seem superior. Like, "Oh, I'm not wasting my life counting calories. I'm just gonna be chubby." Like, if that person is happy with what they're doing, then they're not wasting their lives. Maybe you see counting calories as a waste, but the person who's counting calories does not see it as a waste. So let them count their calories. Like, why are you so bothered? It's weird. Not to be an idiot, but I already read your first sentence and you're kind of going to be an idiot. But I don't understand fat phobic doctors. Like, just take the x-rays and the test as if the person wasn't fat. Like, If the patient isn't showing improvement, why would you double down on blaming their weight as opposed to checking for other things? Why is this such an issue? I just don't get why some medical professions are so discriminatory. Hashtag fat phobia trigger warning. Hashtag, like, I know there are people who, sorry. I know there are people with all the flaws and stuff that comes with it, but as a professional, isn't it the point of pride to take treatment successfully? Hashtag, no, never mind. It's about cutting the check and cutting down people for their bad ones, I guess. That last hashtag didn't make any sense, but I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I'll probably have to say it another time. But part of the reason why a doctor recommends weight loss for issues is because 9 times out of 10, the issue that you're complaining about, especially when they say, hey, probably lose some weight, is weight loss. Weight is like a main contributor to it. And it's hard to narrow down the other issues when you still have all the extra weight. That's like someone who, like, I talked about it before. My grandmother had pancreatic cancer. And when she first went to the hospital, before she was diagnosed with diabetes. And for a year, she was being treated for diabetes. And when her diabetes wasn't getting better, even though she lost a lot of weight, they found that she actually had pancreatic cancer, which was diabetes was a symptom of her cancer. Now, do I blame them? Like, a little bit, but my grandmother at the time was an overweight woman. Her symptoms were showing diabetes. They found that she had diabetes. The diabetes treatment was kind of helping, but even though when she lost the weight, she still had the diabetes. So that's when they found, oh, you have cancer. Like, it's hard to eliminate the diabetes when, one, technically she did have it, and two, the main cause of it would be weight. So they didn't think to look for other things. Does that suck? They probably could have saved her life. Probably, but at the same time, 9 times out of 10, if an obese person comes in with certain symptoms and the insulin, the diabetes medication is helping the issue, then diabetes would be the answer. They didn't think that they would have to look for other answers because the cancer she has, I believe, is kind of rare. It's not very common for people to have it, but it's not the rarest cancer, but it's not common. And so, yeah, like, it sucks, but that's just what it is. They have to eliminate the most likely factor before they can test for other things. If you don't eliminate the most likely factor, which is your weight, it's going to make it harder and make them less likely to want to test for other things. Because, hey, 9 times out of 10 is this thing. The 1 time out of 10 that you might have the different thing. Like, it's statistically, it doesn't make sense to test everyone for everything. They have to check things off first. They have to check, it's most likely weight. So let's check the weight, lose the weight. If you're still having the problems, then we're going to go to the next thing. And if you're still having the problem, then we're going to go to the next thing. But they can't check off if your weight is the problem if you don't lose the weight for them. Unless we see fat phobia as a real form of oppression, we will never combat it. Fat phobia is not simply making fun of fat people, although that perpetuates it. Fat phobia is violent. Fat phobia is dishumane. It is not being taken serious by doctors, and it costs lives. Is there some problems when how fat people are treated? Yes, but I don't like using the word oppression. Is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Oh my God. There's a word to describe what it is, but oppression is not the word. And I can't think of what it is. Is it like, God, there's a word and I can't think of the word at all. I don't even know what it was. I feel like I want to say it starts with a D, but once again, you guys are always smarter than me and you always know what I'm trying to say. But it's a disadvantage. Yes. Is there some negative things that come with being fat and the things fat people have to deal with in life? Yes. But is it oppression? No. It's not. Just because you're having some adversity, I think that's the word I'm looking for, doesn't mean that it's a form of oppression. You have hardships, yes, but you're not being oppressed. You're not. I'm sorry. You don't like the way that things are going for you. I'm sorry, but you can change it. You can change being fat. Even if it's hard, you can change it. Okay? And I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with my avatar. I just refreshed the app hoping that would fix her from straightening up, but she's becoming a little bit robotic. I think I've been using her too much today. This is my 3rd video in a row recording. So I think she needs a break after this and she'll get it. But yeah, you have some adversity, you have some issues, but you're not being oppressed. Like, and the reason why I hate it because actual group of people who have been actually oppressed throughout the world are oppressed about things that they can't change. Like, can't change being LGBTQ. You can't change being Black or Asian or Hispanic or Latino or indigenous, or like you can't change your ethnicity. You can't change, like, I guess you can change your religion, but you shouldn't be forced to change you shouldn't be forced to change what you believe, because like religious groups are freaking discriminated against like all the time. Like certain groups more than others, but like every like religion has people have been discriminated against for what they believe. Like that's like that shouldn't be okay. But like being fat is like no, and like the form of quote unquote oppression is nowhere near the form of oppression that these other groups have faced. Like I'm not saying it. Oh, it's not as bad, so it's not real. But like I don't see people going out and dragging fat people out of their beds and setting them on fire or stoning them or killing them or putting them as slaves because they're fat. Like that, like all these other groups of oppression that has happened to women. You know, the Salem witch trials, women are like fucking murdered and set on fire and all that stuff. Happened to people of color. It happened to like Muslims and Jewish people and like other major religions. Like, but you think that your form of oppression because you're a little different and your life might be a little harder, and it's not even harder. Like you really think your life is a lot harder than someone who is skinny. Like you guys think that skinny people's lives are so easy and they have no problems, and that's not true. Okay, it's not true. But you have these little bit hardships that are different than other people, so you just assume that's a form of oppression because your life is hard, and it's not, and it's hard because you're fat. No. That's not the same as like your hardships because you're Jewish or you're a Muslim or you're a person of color or you're an indigenous person or you're a gay person or you're a trans person. Like, no. Or you're a woman. Like, no. The hardships are different. And like it's also victimhood. Like the last like few years, like 5-10 years, it seems like people want to be the victim. Like, and I don't understand that. Like as an actual victim of things, I don't understand wanting to be a victim. It's not fun. It's not cute. It's not a struggle I would want to wish upon anyone. So I don't understand the need to want to be a victim. It's just weird. I am fat. That is a physical health issue that I have to address. You're skinny. That's an emotional health issue that you have to address. Is there no normal? Like I feel like anyone who's not overweight to them is skinny. And like, no, they're just a normal healthy weight. Skinny is like when you're underweight or when you're smaller than like a normal weight. You know what I mean? Like, but like, they're just, it's like George, I think his name was like George Doucette, the guy who's like, oh, if you don't see your abs, you're skinny. I mean, you're fat. It's like, there's a in between, fit and fat. There's just, not fit, normal weight, then a little chunky, a little chubby, a little overweight. There's a in between. You know what I mean? And like same with these people. It's like it's either you're fat or skinny. There's no in between for these people. It's like the extremes, and it's so stupid. And what emotional health issues does someone have to address if they're skinny? It's statistically more dangerous to be underweight than overweight, signaling that the obesity epidemic is far more rampant anti-fat bias than it is about health. But there's also way more people who are obese than there are people who are underweight. I think 60% of Americans are overweight to obese. So that would only be 40% of people who are left, right? And not all 40% of those people are underweight. So there's more people who are overweight than there are underweight. And yes, being underweight is more dangerous because it kind of, it's statistically more dangerous because it's a lower number of people. And like, let's say a big number, like 50% of everyone who's underweight dies, right? That's a lot of people when it's like half the group. But like if 60% of overweight people don't die from obesity, that's still 40% of the people dying from obesity, but yet that's still more people dying from obesity than dying from being underweight, because there's more people who are overweight. And no one is saying that being underweight is healthy. There is a part of the medical profession that tries to help people who are underweight as well. It's just less rampant because there's less people who are underweight. Science says that dieting could force your brain to eat itself. As with other parts of your body, people who are in a caloric deficit will find that their body will start consuming brain cells as a final source of energy to prevent starvation. Did you read the last part? It says final source. So the first thing your body would start eating for energy would be the fat cells, because your body stores the fat because it didn't use the energy. So when your body needs the energy, the first thing it will eat are your fat cells. That's if your body is doing everything correctly. Something, I don't know why, but I feel like there's probably a disease that when you're trying to be in a caloric deficit, your body will just eat anything and it doesn't know the difference. I feel like that would be a thing, right? Like, it seems like that would be something. But normally your body will eat your fat cells first, and then if you're trying to lose weight, still when there's not fat cells to eat, I think your body will start eating your muscles and other stuff, and it will eat your brain as a last ditch effort. And I think at that point, if it's eating your brain, you're probably not able to move a lot anyway. At that point, you're probably already bedridden and you have no energy to do anything. So like I said, it says last source. It's not going to start eating your brain my body is not going to start eating my brain just because I'm eating 300 less calories than I should. It's going to get it from my fat cells because I have plenty of them for them to eat from. Every time I see a fat phobe try to point out how bad being fat is, I imagine them going up to a cancer patient and doing the same thing. So now you're comparing yourself to having fucking cancer. First you compare yourself to fucking racism. Then you compare yourself to fucking homophobia. And you compare yourself to fucking like religious persecution. And now you're comparing yourself to having cancer. You're like, you're not the extreme. You go to the extremes when you're not the extremes. Oh my God. But let me finish. Let me finish reading, okay? Explaining to a person with cancer why cancer is so bad and demoralizing the person for having cancer, equating to having cancer as having inferior morality, claiming that cancer makes a person ugly because they become bald, while not listening to when the person with cancer said that there is no cure, and that they didn't choose to have cancer. Except in the fat phobe's case, it's even worse because being fat is not and has never been inherently unhealthy. This person is absolutely delusional. I'm glad I chose this to be my last post because I can't read anything after this bullshit that just came out of my mouth. I can't believe I said this. I had to actually say these words. I'm gonna say, I do not agree that being fat has never been or is not unhealthy. Being extremely overweight for long periods of time is nothing but extremely unhealthy. I am extremely unhealthy. I am not doing good for my body. If I stay at the way I am for the rest of my life, I'm going to create health issues for myself that I could avoid. And I don't understand why anyone wouldn't lose weight. Like, why would you not lose weight if you could avoid health issues that you wouldn't have to deal with? Or you can make it less likely for you to avoid those health issues. First of all. Second of all, you choose to be fat. Point blank period. You might have chose to get to that point. But the choices you have made from childhood to adulthood to wherever you are, you have chosen to be fat. Okay? You overate, you didn't work out that much, and now you're fat. Point blank period. Not saying you have to lose weight. That's fine. I always say this. But the choices you have made have led to you being fat. And if you change your choices and change what you're doing, you can lose weight if you want to. You don't choose to fucking have cancer. Okay? Earlier, I was just talking about how my grandmother had cancer. She didn't choose fucking cancer, okay? She didn't. Like, it's not the same. You can't compare being fat to cancer. And then you think that a fat phobe is worse than someone bullying someone for having cancer. Because that's what you're saying. You're literally saying that someone who's bullying someone for being fat is worse than someone bullying someone for having cancer. They're both bad. You shouldn't bully someone because they're fat. You shouldn't call them ugly because they're fat. You shouldn't make them feel less than a human because they're fat. Those are all horrible things. Don't do that. Do not do that. But don't compare those. That's like me. I'm going to bring up an extreme case, right? That's like me as a black person who has had some oppression and hardship because I'm black. But I know in this day and age, the issues with racism that I had to deal with is nothing compared to what it was in the past, and it's not compared to other issues and situations that go on. It's still oppression, it's still a systematic system to bring people down, but it's still not like I'm not a slave. I'm not forced to live in someone's outhouse and work their fucking filth for them and probably be sexually assaulted by their son and whipped if I don't do like I'm not oppressed in that way. As a woman, I'm not, I'm very fortunate as a black woman. Like I know that my oppression that I've had to deal with is not compared to things in the past. My oppression is nothing compared to like what the Jews had to deal with during the 1940 times. I don't think I could say the word. I think I get demonetized if I say the word, but you know what I'm talking about. It's not to the level of persecutions that Muslims have to face in America, especially post 9/11. Like, it's not like, I know I'm very fortunate, and like I talk about racism in this country a lot and how it is bad, but I am also very aware that my oppression and the issues in this country currently is not where it used to be. It has improved and it has gotten better. Does that mean it's good? No, but it's definitely on a different level, and I'm very aware of that. So that's like, if someone has called you ugly and made you feel less than a human or have less morality because you're fat, they shouldn't do that. That's not okay. But that does not mean that it's on the same level as someone doing something like that to a cancer patient. It's not the same level. You can't compare them. They're not the same thing. Okay? And that's why I brought up with my situation, what I was just saying, because yes, the oppression I dealt with growing up and what I deal with on a daily basis and stuff I have to deal with are bad. But I know it's not to the level that my ancestors or even my grandparents had to deal with. Like, I know it's a different experience. And I don't compare the two. I don't say that what I deal with today is as bad as what my ancestors dealt with. Like, I could track my ancestry back up to when my great-great-great-grandparents were slaves and when they were released from slavery. Like, I know that one of my first generation that was not slaves, that they were released from slavery, my grandmother, I'm just going to say my grandmother, I don't know how many great she is, but she opened up a church. Like, she opened up like a major like Baptist church down in like the South or whatever. Like, I'm able to track myself, and I know that her life was way harder than mine. I know that. And this person does not see the difference. They think that what they go through is worse than if someone bullies a cancer patient. Like, and they think that their oppression that they deal with is on the level of what I have to deal with today. No. Like, have you ever... Maybe they feel like they have, but I've actually worked a job where me and the other black coworkers were getting paid than the white people. Like, excuse me? What the hell? I've actually... I've actually been followed around in stores just walking in because I'm black. There's no other reason why. Why are you specifically following me? I'm wearing my uniform. I work at this mall and I'm being followed in stores. But your oppression that you go through because someone calls you ugly is just as bad as me. Like, I get called a fucking... I get called like a colonizer lover because my boyfriend's white. Like, excuse me? But God forbid someone calls you fat and you go fucking cry in a corner. Like, go somewhere. Like, I can't with these people. I can't. Alright, and with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please leave a like down below. If you guys enjoyed me, make sure you guys subscribe because I do videos videos Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And I'll see you guys once I get my stuff back. Bye bye.